Hi guys, Steve Lacera here. Today we'll learn how to do some basic tuning and adjustments for a snare drum. What makes a snare drum different from the other drums in a kit? The bottom of a snare drum will have a set of snares, these springy wires, up against the bottom head. The snares are held against the bottom head with a device called a throw-off, sometimes also called a strainer. On the inside of some snare drums, you'll find a mechanism called a muffler, which is a form of a tone control. You tend to see these on older drums, and they can rattle and make a lot of noise. So make sure they're either tight or just remove it so you don't have to worry about it. We'll start on the bottom head. This bottom head has been loosened so that it's pretty slack. The bottom head of a snare is considerably thinner than the top, and they can be damaged pretty easily. So we want to check it out and make sure that there are no tears or deep dents in the head. These screws are called tension rods. This particular snare has 10 tension rods. Some drums have 8. We'll start by just finger tightening the tension rods, just enough to take the slack out. And then we'll use a drum key to start putting tension on the head. I want to try to tension the head evenly and not put a lot of tension on one side. So what we'll do is we'll start in one spot and then we'll do a half a turn, then we'll go across the diameter, do another half a turn, and then we'll shift over one. We'll take up the slack, because what happens is, as I push one tension rod down, the next one gets loose. So we'll give a half turn, go across, do the same thing, take up the slack and go half a turn, shift over, take up the slack, do a half turn, across. At this point, we have very little tension on the drum, and I have also loosened the snares so that they're not pulling against the head. We'll put another half turn on each tension rod, so we'll go half. We should start to hear some tone, so let's listen. The bottom head usually winds up pretty tight, so we'll go around and give another half turn. We'll take a listen to that. And we'll go another half turn. That should be a pretty good starting point. So we'll flip over the drum and start working on the top head. We'll do the same thing with the top head. This top head is slack, so we'll just make the tension rods finger tight. And then we'll start here, go half a turn, across, half a turn. We'll keep going. Half a turn, half a turn. And if we listen to this, you can hear that the pitch is reasonably close near each tension rod. So it's not like this one's really high and this one's low. We'll flip the snares on and see what this is starting to sound like. So we have a fairly decent starting point. The next thing we'll do is adjust the snares. I'll start with the throw-off really loose. So when I turn it on, you don't hear the snares yet. And now I'll start tightening the knob. And you can hear the snares begin to rattle. I don't want them so loose that they're rattling all day long, or that you can hear them resonate with the sound of my voice. So we want them tighter than that. But we don't want them super tight, because when they're too tight, the drum becomes less sensitive. And when the drummer plays softly, the snares don't respond, and the drum sounds a little more like a tom until the drummer starts hitting it harder. This could be good if you're trying to simulate the sound of like a military drum. We're going to loosen the snares so that the drum can breathe a little more. And here's the close mic. You can hear that this drum has some ring to it. And if you don't like that and you want to get rid of it, you can try using the muffler, but the muffler pushes up against the head and it distorts the natural motion of the drum head. So I'm not a big fan of that. What I would prefer would be to use either a small piece of felt taped to the top head or a little piece of moon gel, which will dampen the ringing quite nicely. I'm going to go a little bit tighter with my snares. And from here, I can tune up a little bit or tune down, but this is a pretty good starting point. So there's the basic setup of a snare drum.